Hello and welcome to episode 504 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now joining me on today's episode is the drumming genius Josh Eppard. You'll know him from Coheed and Cambria, one of the greatest bands of all time, and Held, who have recently released their debut album and it kicks ass. Truly, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's called Grey, it's out now, and it will blow your mind. So on today's episode, we have a deep dive talking all about the history of Coheed and Cambria, what it's like being in Held and Coheed at the same time, Josh growing up and the influences that led him to the bands he listens to today, and so much more that you normally get from Mark and me. And I can't wait to give you that interview in just a couple of moments' time. Now, before I get there, as always, guys, I like to touch base and talk about my last episode. It was the second part of the 2000 Tree specials, so thank you to everyone that tuned in and took the time to listen. I've seen so many people share it. It goes a massive long way in promoting Mark and me, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for taking the time to share those episodes. But let's get to today's episode, because this guy is a legend. He's a friend, he's a cool dude, and just a fucking awesome drummer. So here's Mark and me with Josh Eppard. So Josh, welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Happy to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me, man.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, Josh, what I do with all bands that come on is I love to go right back to the very beginning. And I'm curious with yourself, what was that first album you bought with your own pocket money? You must have been young. Maybe you did like a shitty part-time job to save up money. But that first one you remember going out and buying, if it's really terrible and a guilty pleasure, it's time to like reveal it, or it could be an absolute classic and I'm going to be literally jealous of you for the rest of my life.
Well, okay, so of course I remember my first ever record I bought. And by the way, I'm 46 years old, so it was indeed a record. It was a vinyl record because that's how you listened to music back then. But I was pre-working. I was really young. Maybe 6 or 7, and I had some birthday money saved up, and this band came on the TV that just like infected me. I had to have it, and it was Bon Jovi.
Oh wow!
Slippery When Wet. I was too young to kind of get the insinuation. Slippery When Wet.
Nice.
But funny enough, I had so much birthday money. I bought. In my first time ever buying, now there were records before this that I loved, but my dad already had them. Prince's Purple Rain, Michael Jackson Thriller. This was me asking to go to the store to buy them. So I buy Slippery When Wet, but I still have, I don't know, $30 left over, which back then is a lot of money. So I bought Rat, Hell on Wheels. Mind you, I'd never heard a Rat song. They just looked like Bon Jovi to me. So I thought, well, this is going to rock. And then I also bought Cinderella Night Songs. And
that's unbelievable,
what's
dude.
funny?
Yeah.
So my first were those 3 records, but nobody had kind of positioned me to like this stuff. If anything, my family, which is a whole family of musicians, were kind of scratching their heads. Like, you're into this shit? Was kind of the energy. But it spoke to me. And didn't speak, my dad's a blues guy, career musician. Me and my older brother, Joey, followed in my father's footsteps. We're both career musicians. But this wasn't, like I said, I wasn't positioned to like this stuff. It wasn't like my dad said, oh, you got to check out the new John Bon. No, my dad kind of laughed at that stuff, but I loved it. And yeah, I played the hell out of those records. And I grew to really love Rat. And I really loved, even more than the Rat Hell on Wheels record, was the Cinderella Night Songs record, which I still love to this day.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible foundations. And what it kind of changed for me was when I went to my first gig, because then obviously when I'm growing up, I got Nirvana, Nevermind, Appetite for Destruction, Use Your Illusion 2. Weirdly, I didn't get Use Your Illusion 1 because I could only afford 1. And my parents were like, we're going to take you to a gig, but you can't talk to anyone. We're going to drop you off You're not going to go and, drink anything. I was only like 13. We'll pick you up outside the venue in Wolverhampton, but you do not talk to anyone. Go and have a nice time. And it was Green Day on their Dookie tour.
Get out of town, dude.
Unbelievable. And I was
What kind
like,
of venue, Mark? What kind of venue was
at
it?
that time, it was Wolverhampton Wolf Run, which is like a few hundred. Like it's not massive at all. It was fucking
Oh,
unbelievable. And Billy Joe came
so
on,
awesome.
on stage, was playing stuff like When I Come Around. They hadn't quite made it. Like they were starting to get on MTV too, and you could like, I think it was Basket Case that started to like really get some momentum. But they were just on that verge of like breaking, and they were so raw. The three of them came on stage because at that point there was no extra, session musicians on stage or an extra guitarist or any backing tracks. It was just the three of them, and they were so punk, and they just fucking absolutely blew my mind. My chest was kind of rocketing and raging from like the bass. I looked at Billy Joe Armstrong and I was like, that's all I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to go home. I want to bleach my hair, get some stickers, stick them on a guitar, and just be in a band.
Sure.
I was like, this is all
Yeah,
I want to
man.
do for the rest of my life. Were you as lucky? Did you have a great first gig? I mean, your albums are unbelievable, dude. But I wondered, was there anything close when it came to seeing your first live band?
So this is a really weird answer, Mark, and bear with me. Growing up with a father who is a musician, I've been going to like gigs since I was just a child. When I would get in trouble with my mom, I'd have to go to work with my father, which meant I was out at a bar till 5 a.m. while a loud band played while I'm in my sleeping bag in the dressing room trying to sleep. Uh, but my first, seriously, so we just grew, and some of those gigs were big, like, Levon Helm. Uh, my dad was in a band with Levon Helm from the band, out on Cripple Creek.
Yeah.
He's a legend. So I'm like around these people, and it definitely had a big influence on me. I don't think any of the adults thought I was listening. I was kind of known as like the loudmouth, boisterous, wild kid, but some of what they said landed. But my first official real gig, not my dad's gig that I went to, was awfully cool. I don't know that I was old enough to know really how cool it was. It was Al Green, the Reverend Al Green at the Beacon Theater in New York City.
Jesus Christ,
And it
dude.
was life changing, dude. To be honest, dude, I'm 11 years old. Me and my brother, we started a band, which I think, most kids would do. There's instruments laying around the house. My dad never pushed it on us. What lived in him lived in us. We loved music. We wanted to be a part of something. So we started a band. And literally within like a month of starting the band, my dad had us in like, $1,000 a day studio recording our songs about baseball and the forest. We're kids, we're children. Well, the producer, the owner of that studio, kind of saw something in us and said, we gotta take these guys to see some shows because I begged my dad to take me to see Prince. And my dad would say, when you're 7 years old, you go to that show, you'll go deaf. So I thought as a kid that was the trade off. You get one show, they rock your world, and then you're deaf for the rest of your life. That's what I thought at like 5, 6, 7 years old. My dad was a hardworking guy. We never went hungry, but we were quite poor. But when I say he had us in $1,000 a day studio, he traded work to get us in there because we sure as hell didn't have the money.
Yeah.
But that producer said, we got to get these guys to see some shows. And we hopped in. That producer, his name's Mike Birnbaum, by the way, who's produced 5 Coheed records in the studio that my father built, by the way. A lot of those Coheed albums were done in the studio that my dad built. And took us down to New York City, and what a thrill. I was kind of bummed, honestly. Who the hell's Al Green? I'm 11 years old. Little metalhead. Who's Al Green? And I just was like transported
Yeah,
to
I bet.
another place in time, dude. Yeah, like you can't watch Al Green perform and not be like just transfixed. You are transported truly. And I was. And I'm so thankful that the adults, that was my first show. My first real show. And then a beautiful venue like the Beacon Theater. Although I gotta say, I wish mine was yours. I wish I saw Green Day in a few 100-seat venue on the eve of their true ascension. That's flipping cool. But mine's pretty cool too. I'll take mine. Mine's pretty cool, but I love yours. That's incredible. That's really
What's
incredible.
crazy, Josh, is like a week later, because my parents were like, "Good, you didn't do drugs, you didn't drink, you were responsible. We'll take you to another gig." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I went to an arena and I saw the Fugees, which was fucking complete opposite, which is just absolutely
Totally.
could not get any further away from it. And seeing Lauryn Hill singing on stage, I was like, wow, this is so different. Like, it's amazing, but like, wow, this I didn't realize live music could be so like varied.
Yeah, it's just such a giant window, obviously stylistically, artist wise, show wise, production wise. I think learning that, I'm still learning that. Shit, I'm still learning that, man. We're out on tour with a band called Shinedown, and we're opening for them. And just seeing their show, there's things that I did. And then the other day we did Rockville, and I watched my chem do their headlining set to like 70,000 people. And there are things that you can do on a stage that I didn't even know were possible. And both of those shows, the Shinedown show, which I get an intimate viewing of every night, so I'm really lucky to see that, and the My Chemical Romance show, I'm still learning how varied it can be and really what's possible, which is a thrill. I dream, I think we all daydream of bringing certain things to life on stage. But if I'm being honest, Coheed right now in the last 5 years, say, has a production that I don't know that I ever really thought would be reality. Again, we always pipe dream. We're in a band. We're big dreamers. But God, that My Chem show, just seeing what was possible was so like wild. But even more to your point, we played a festival in Europe last year, and we got to watch Mos Def and Talib Kweli together on stage. And to me, that was like, it's the total kind of opposite. It's another lane from what Coheed does. But oh my God, my hair stood up. It was Black Star on stage for the first time in forever in like Denmark. And much like, I'm like, wow, like the other bands that are really turning me on here are like mostly metal bands. This is the total opposite. But man, it was also, made my hair stand up. It was unbelievable, truly.
What's
And
quite
seeing
unique,
Lauryn Hill in her
yeah,
prime
that
is sick. So
unbelievable. What's quite unique is on this podcast when I've talked to bands and I've had Deftones, Thrice, Incubus, Silverchair, all these various bands. All of them had a struggle when they were growing up because they weren't in a music kind of led household. So when they turned around and they turned around to their parents and were like, "Look, I want to be in a band," and they're like, "Look, listen, son, you need to get a real job. Like, this is not going to be a moment for you to make it and be this big famous musician, or you're not going to be able to earn enough money." But even though I'm at now nearly 490 episodes, your story is different. It must have been kind of the opposite. It must be, look, Josh, we think you should go out and do music, like pushing you because they could see you had this ability from such a young age. And your dad's there going, we'll pay for studio time. Like, we believe in you.
yeah, I definitely can't relate to the kind of more common story of like, and of course your parents don't. If you don't come from a musical family, your parents say, "Oh, this is a terrible idea. This idea works for about 0.0001% of people that try." So I don't knock the parents, but no, I never experienced that. And what we didn't have in money, uh, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade having grown up rich because we were rich in opportunity. We were rich in support. I mean, my dad gave so much energy to our band, and it reverberates to this day. Like I said, Coheed has done so 6 records in full at Applehead Studios. Applehead Studios was built by my father. My dad built that studio from the ground up. We're not talking about he took over a building and made it a studio. No, he took a farm, my dad and Mike Birnbaum and a crew of 60 people, but my dad designed and built the studio. And it's just forever to me intertwined and connected to that band that my dad, when we were kids, that he poured so much time and energy into. Mind you, that band went on to sign, and we signed to a major label. You know, I always say 16, but like the deal started when I was 16. We went back and forth for a while, and the band became a really serious thing. I had my 10,000 hours in a studio long before I was 18. And Michael Birnbaum, who again has produced 5 Coheed records, Mike Birnbaum was the owner of the studio. My father back then was a partner, but all of this is intertwined. I mean, when Coheed first started, we would share a rehearsal space with that band, the band 3. That was me and my brother's band. I left the band, and it really splintered my family. My mom was so deeply disappointed. And I'm sure my dad was too. And I don't think they could have ever dreamed of what happened to me. I went and joined something heavy. We talked about my first records and it being kind of a head scratching moment for my family, for my dad. The same thing happened when I bought Alice in Chains Facelift. No adults around me pointed me towards heavier music. Nobody. It just, the music did. You know, usually you can kind of backtrack, right? You can kind of, if you get in there to the nuance and say, oh, I had an older brother who turned me on to it or this. I didn't have that. They weren't into this. And I remember when I bought Facelift, my dad put it on. We're at CDs by this point. We're in the 90s. And my dad and brother just kind of made fun of me. And I remember feeling like really self-conscious about my love of heavy music. And the band, me and my brother's band 3. By the way, I know this gets confusing, but 3 went on to tour a bunch with Coheed, Dream Theater, Porcupine Tree. They put out 3 absolutely brilliant albums on Metal Blade, and it's heavy, which is so funny to me because when we were young, my brother wasn't into the heavy like I was. And so I left 3, not for Coheed. I left 3, and that's a big deal. My whole life from age 10 to 20 was all based around this band 3. So when I left it, it was still a huge deal in my family. And then my passion for music took me to Coheed. How lucky am I? I've been in like 3 bands my whole life. I guess maybe 4. Some people can never find the right band to play in. And I'm just so lucky that I had parents that not only supported it, it's almost like my dad was like, you're 10, you're starting a band, it's about time. He just was into it. He loved it, and I'm forever grateful for that. I really love my pops.
It's incredible, and I'm kind of thinking, did you feel that because you kind of took this decision to leave Free, go to Coheed, well, you know, later then join Coheed, did you feel there was a bit of extra pressure? Because if Coheed had failed or Coheed wasn't going to ever get to where it was, you kind of had cut those ties with your family and made that decision to put all your eggs in one basket and kind of go, well, I'm going to go and take this risk now, and I really hope it pays off because it comes with a lot of stakes.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. So again, just imagine your family dynamic is for a decade is built around this band. It's CMJ festivals every year. I played CBGBs probably 30 times before I turned 16. This band was a family band. We get the record deal. I'll never forget it. Tears, hugs, big pizza party at my house. And then I leave. I say, I'm quitting. You know, I was becoming a man. I had joined this band as the little brother for the first 7 years. I was the weakest link. You know, when you're 16 and everybody else is 19, when you're 15 and everybody's 18, and like around the age of 15, I started making leaps actually. Like I was becoming the kind of player I wanted to be. And I just felt like I was always the little brother there. And when I go and join a band like Coheed, everyone felt bad for me. There was no world that I don't think anyone imagined a world that this would work except me. And I just can't tell you like how validating it was. Do you know Coheed's first show ever with me, because we had played. That's how we knew each other. Me and Claudia, I've known those
Yeah.
guys since I was 13, 14 years old. They would come and open for my band, and we would open for their band. And they were from downstate a little bit, but we were friends. And I always really liked them, but not a lot of people did. I mean, Claudia will tell you himself. People didn't like Shabuti. That was the name of the band before it was Coheed. I mean, they had a few fans, but not a lot, man. It was weird, polarizing music. And my first band with Shabuti was opening for my old band, Three, my brother's band that was formerly my band. And the room cleared while we played. And Mark, I mean cleared. Like, are you still there?
I am. I'm just picturing it in my
Oh,
head
good.
now, and I'm thinking to myself,
Oh, dude.
it's quite soul destroying. I'm kind of sad for you.
Oh, dude. Chick's Sports Bar in Kingston, New York. It's a sports bar, and we somehow get them to play Evil Dead on the TVs. We thought that would be cool.
That is cool.
Excuse me. It was cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that is fucking
cool.
great.
And we're playing, and Three is a dance pop band at this point, and I keep having to do these mental gymnastics when I was in Three. We write this stuff. It sounds like Nirvana. It sounds like punky, and then we're into the Minutemen. We're into some punk shit, and it sounds like that in the garage, and then it's just produced into. And also, we're falling into kind of where my dad came from, the bar band. You want to please the people watching you, so you play danceable stuff. And Three, became a young band that was drawing in this very small local world. If you got 300 people coming out, that's huge. When you're a kid, it's like, wow. So I walk away from that, and then, I joined this band, and our first gig is opening for my old band, which I'm into, but feeling the pressure. I'm so stupid. I don't realize the pressure till the day of the show. And watching that room clear it's something I still have kind of dreams about it. I don't know that I'll go and say they're full scale nightmares, but I remember the sinking in my heart. And I remember my best friend, who I refer to as my other brother, Barry, he came up to me after the show, and he gave me a pound, and he says, "All right, bro, no more pussy shit." And what I think that if you speak Barry, what he meant is no more soft music. You're going to be part of something that has a little bit more edge.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm well aware there's bands that are way heavier than Coheed, but for me, coming from this kind of funky, danceable band into a band like Coheed was just a huge leap. But yeah, people kind of really made fun of me for it, and I think people felt really bad for me. And the general feeling was, oh, poor Josh. What did he do? But I don't know, man. I was a fan. I really liked what Claudio, Travis, Mike, and Nate did. And when Nate quit, they called me. And I know Claudio told me when I was 15 we were going to be in a band together. And, you're 15. You think life is cemented how it is. I thought he was just drunk and bugging. Yeah, Claude, yeah, dog. But maybe he knew something I didn't. Claude used to just perch himself. Wherever we were playing, he would just kind of sit and watch me the whole time. And I liked that. It would give me something that he was watching me. Give me a little extra juice or whatever. And maybe he knew something, because I couldn't even imagine a world. I mean, I'm on a major label making a living at 16, being in a band. And Claude tells me, we're going to be in a band together one day. And I'm at that time, I'm well, hopefully not, because I'm,
yeah, I'm doing all right, dude.
Yeah. Keep telling me I'm going to be a rock star. And I want to just quickly go on to say, my brother was and is the singer of Three. And if you can imagine the kind of person that it takes to absorb that, my brother had been told that he was going to be a John Mayer level star since he was 12. And I just can't say enough about Joey and the man he's become. By the way, he is probably the most talented person I've ever met. I'm almost less inclined to say that because he's my brother. I almost wish he wasn't my brother. Because of course people are going to think, oh, he's your brother. Of course you're going to say that. But no, go look up Joey Eppard. And you'll say, like everyone, how the hell do I not know of this guy? we bring him out with us all the time. He comes on the Coheed cruise, absolutely murders it. He's playing the Coheed Festival with us. We never let this destroy our relationship, if you can believe that, because talk about obstacles, but we never let it destroy us. And to me, it's a real badge of honor. My brother, talent-wise, one of the best in the world. Singer and guitar player, composer, writer. He's unbelievable. And Claudio and Travis would tell you the same thing. And Zach, Joey's just unbelievable. But, he didn't like heavy music like I did. And that was why it split. But yeah, when you talk about the pressure and just, I don't know, I didn't think Coheed was a sure shot. I just knew I liked it. And this was an opportunity that was worth my energy and time. But can you imagine how validating it was for me to I remember coming home from tours and my dad staying up till I got home, get home 4 a.m. We're getting dropped off by the van after being gone for 9 weeks. My dad saying, how much merch did you do? And I say, oh, Dad, I don't even know. So many boxes. People seem to really be responding. And just my dad, really lit up, oddly, my mom, she never liked Coheed. And I think I know why. I can't confirm this because she's gone. But I think to her, it represented the splintering of the band, the family band. And it hurts me that she never came to see Coheed unless we were playing with Joey, my brother. She never just came to see Coheed. But yeah, it wasn't her thing. It was, you know what? It's simply just too heavy for her. I can live with that. But I think to her, it represented this splintering of the family band that all of us had all our dreams kind of etched into. I really lived my father's dreams. My dad also is legendarily talented. My dad is unbelievable. And he just never had the commercial success that you'd think that talent warrants. And that's certainly true in my brother's case. Everyone that sees my brother, the same question. And he's been fielding this question for 30 plus years. Why aren't you famous? And I told Joey, start answering him like this. Say, well, that's up to you. I can't. I'm doing my part. But that's what everyone says. The director of that movie, Almost Famous, Cameron Crowe?
My favorite film of all time, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cameron Crowe saw my brother play in Woodstock, New York. Just my brother playing at a pizza place or something, because Joey will just go and play anywhere. And Cameron Crowe just fell over himself to get my brother's information and wanted Joey to basically do the music for an entire movie, but in song form, write an album and a record. My brother also, it's worth noting, is the worst businessman maybe of all time. He's a true artist, and he kind of harkens back to a day where that's another person's job. My brother is exceptional at writing and recording music. He's just not a businessman. He turned down money from Pepsi to write a jingle for them. He probably wouldn't do that now. He was young then and had his ideals in place, and but yeah, the Cameron Crowe thing. I'll ask him about that. I say, Joey, you're emailing back with Cameron Crowe. What happened? He's like, oh, I don't know, man. I should give him a ring. Or it's Joey, Brian Slagle from Metal Blade, legendary music executive. Brian would probably cringe if he knew I called him an executive, but Brian Slagle's a legend, he signed Joey's band. In fact, Slagle did an interview in a magazine, and they asked him the 3 biggest question marks in the music business. And he brought up my brother's band. And he said, essentially, I thought I had this figured out. You take a great band and you put them in front of people and they love it, and it's off to the races. Well, with 3, every crowd we put them in front of, they're picking their jaws up off the floor. They're spending money on the records, on merch. And then it's they come through town again and no one remembers. It is the strangest thing, Mark. And I've seen it firsthand. Dude, I've seen it firsthand. We brought them out with Coheed. 2004, the tour is 3, Under Oath, Coheed and Cambria, and 3 is a weird band. This is the height of the scene is the scene. Everybody kind of looks and acts like, now Coheed is thought of as like a left turn out of that. 3 was a huge left turn. And I'd go out in the crowd and I would be moved to tears nightly, like ugly cry, try to hide that you're crying. I was so moved because kids would kind of like snicker at first because they'd see like a percussion setup. It's like, wait, all my favorite bands don't have that. What the hell is that? And then I'd watch these kids get their balls blown straight off. And those same kids that were snickering are buying a 3 shirt and a 3 CD. 3 had no idea what it is to be an opening band. I'd say, what did you guys do in merch tonight? They're like, I don't know if it's good. It seems good to us. We did 17,000. Like,
fucking hell.
$17,000 as an opening band? Like, crushed. And that was Dream Theater saw 3 play one time. And Mike Portnoy was like, nope, you're coming with us. Boom. 3's on the Prog Nation tour. Killed it every single night. 3 rolls through that same city where they did 17, 27, 30 grand in merch. Just nobody came.
It's weird.
Nobody came. It's so weird. And you're talking about maybe the best live band I've ever seen. Please, Mark, you love music, and I know that about you. 3 has put out some shit that doesn't fully. So, like, you search the band 3. We think this might be the reason. The name is kind of hard to search, but you can find it.
Yeah, of course.
But then, like, you know, there's any career, there's some missteps, and they made some. And I don't want to speak on those. It's not my place to. But you might find the record we made as kids. It is a literal pop rock record produced like an 80s Journey record. It just had no balls. That's not 3. That's the record I played on from the 90s. You got to find the record, The Ghost You Gave to Me, which was their, I think, 3rd Metal Blade record, or The End Is Begun, which is just ridiculous.
I give you my word, I'll listen to both.
Yeah, you do The Ghost You Gave to Me, but after that, The End Is Begun. They also did an EP, which is kind of like elements of The End Is Begun. But yeah, End Is Begun and The Ghost You Gave to Me. But 3, being the weirdos they are, they put out a record on Metal Blade called Revisions, where they redid a bunch of their old songs for God knows what reason. And it just isn't the same. And you're like, they're just they're so varied. And this goes for the listeners too. You know, I really think if you like music, it's almost impossible to not like 3. It's like the Beatles meets like Metallica meets Ani DeFranco. It's so weird.
Crazy.
But it's beautiful. Yeah, I look forward to you checking it out. Sorry, I'll go on.
No, it's good, man. It's good. It's good.
Cobweb history.
No, it's. I'm thinking. Then you go on. You're in Coheed. You're trying to prove that, you know, to your family and your friends and everyone, you've made the right decision. You've had a bit of a bad start with the first gig, but surely it wasn't too long into the career when you're playing bigger venues. You're seeing more people singing your songs back to you. You're seeing people buying more merch. You're recording albums. Coheed is starting to really, really get some momentum. You must have then clicked and thought, I made the right choice. I'm happier. I'm playing the heavier music I love. We are absolutely really making some really fucking awesome albums now.
Yeah, it was fairly quick. I mean, but I think when you're 19, 20 years old, you know, 6 months could feel like 6 years now. You know, time just flies when you get older. But yeah, no, it was fairly quick. But, you know, again, put it this way. When we signed to Equal Vision, my father saw the record deal and laughed. He didn't take it seriously because he had never heard of Equal Vision. He came from this mindset and world of like the major label world, and this corporate entity is how you blow up. I mean, I was told by one of my managers, as a kid, and when I was 14, mind you, that the band 3 with me and my brother, we played Woodstock 94 on the main stage. If you can imagine that, playing to 200,000 people. Yeah, insane. One of the managers said to me, fans aren't important. So that's verbatim. Fans aren't important. All that matters is the perfect demo. Now, what he meant is fans in the early going aren't important. And Coheed proved that to be the total opposite, right? Like, we built this from the fans up. And that what he said never like rang true to me. I was just like, what is this guy talking about? And I realize now, looking back, it's a very kind of 70s, 80s centric view of how to take a band and kind of explode them, right? Screw your few thousand fans. That doesn't matter. What you need is the perfect demo, and then you need this corporate entity to plug in and spend millions on promotion. Okay, yeah, that worked for a long time. That didn't live in my heart, man. I was like a punk without a home. I was like an orphaned punk looking for VFWs with hundreds of screaming kids in them and looking for shows where, your 500 fans did matter. And with Coheed, I basically did the exact opposite of what I was told to do. And you're goddamn right, it was validating, dude. And it still is. I mean, as I sit here right now, imagine everybody, my circle of friends, my family, just thinking, oh, God, poor Josh. Oh, he's in that awful band. The singer's voice is so high. And he just didn't get it. But guess what? They heard that shit on the radio. Now they'll tell everybody, oh, I was a fan from day one. The very same people who walked out of our first show tell you, oh, I was there from the very beginning. I actually helped with their ascension. Yeah, it's pretty much me. I did it. I was there from the beginning. It happened. We laugh about it all the time. How many people come through the meet and greet line and tell us, I've been around since Djibouti. We'll be like, really? Where were you? Because sometimes there was 3 people there, and we know all 3 of them. It was our girlfriends. But yeah, it feels good. I can't lie. It does. It feels good. And it feels like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what is a right decision. I followed my heart. I really did. I wanted to be a part of something edgy. I didn't care that my friends didn't like it. And soon after that show, that first gig, things started to move. There was this label that was interested. In fact, I mean, how Coheed got our record deal was I got a call to go out on tour. I'd never toured. All this is local band stuff. Like the world of like punks jumping in a van and going out and touring was so far removed from our world. We're from Woodstock, New York. Like touring bands come through, but you play in Woodstock, you play locally. Touring meant like driving down to Nyack, where Claudio and Travis were from, and playing down there, and you still sleep in your bed that night. You come home that night. We had never toured. So I get a call to go on tour, which that word, oh my God. And the guy who called me goes, you're going to be playing with Green Day. You're going to be playing with No Effects, The Offspring. What he meant was, we're playing the parking lot stage of Warped Tour. But I don't know this. So I'm like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. And so I go out on that tour, and I have to tell the Coheed guys, because I'm in Djibouti. Leader 1, I think, is what we were changing the name to at that time. And I tell them, I got this opportunity, and it sounds too good to be true, but I'm only going out there to hand out our demos. That's my sole purpose for going out there. And so at home, I went and bought a bundle of CDs, and I sat there on my computer burning. I burned 100 CDRs of Delirium Trigger and 33. And I give them to some of the bands that we're on tour with. And the singer of the band that I'm playing with, I feel like we made him quit music. Like, he heard this and was just like, this is possible. He just was like, holy shit, I'm going to get you guys a record deal. Anybody in a band knows a lot of people say that, but he comes to a rehearsal, he comes to see us live. And I kind of tell him, like, I'm like, it's really rough around the edges, dude. Like, we're out of tune a lot. We gotta figure it out. But he saw the bigger picture, and he said specifically, the way that Claudio looks with a guitar, I have to see more of that. That kind of, I don't care that he's out of tune, the comfort. And but mind you, at this point, nobody has like strap locks. Like, Claudio's guitar flies off once a song. Off. Where is it? Nobody knows. Somebody go find it. Like, we're just madmen up there. But he saw it. And this motherfucker, Ashton Holmes, he went on to be like a somewhat famous actor. He's in that movie, A History of Violence.
Yeah.
He plays one of the main roles in that movie. He's who got us a record deal. Now, of course, and Equal Vision didn't get it. Dan Sandshaw from Equal Vision was the one guy at Equal Vision that was like, I think there's something here. They voted no to sign us. We were really weird. I don't know that people really knew where to stick it. It was like, sure, it had, especially that first record, now feels so kind of scene specific. But at the time, it really felt out there. Even a song like Time Consumer, like the kind of the grooviness of that
Yeah.
beginning. I just wasn't hearing a lot of bands doing that. And yeah, Equal Vision said no. And one of the guys I really try to cheerlead and champion is Dan Sandshaw. I mean, if it wasn't for Dan Sandshaw, the other guys that did get on board, namely Kurt and Bill from Equal Vision, they got on board because of Dan. It was Dan Sancho who saw he had a vision and he saw it, but the rest of the label said no. They voted no, not like, hey, Dan, it's your thing, do it. No, they said no, we shouldn't do this. So we owe so much to Dan, and we owe so much to Ashton Holmes. I mean, Ashton walked into Equal Vision. He's like uncomfortably good looking too. It's just like no guy should be that handsome. And he walks in there so cocky, and he holds up the demo, a CDR demo, and says, I've got the next, I don't know, he probably said something horrible, like I've got the next Nirvana, something ridiculous. And so they only put it on to make fun of him. Like he left. And then they're like, we have to hear this. It's going to be garbage. And then they were like, oh shit, this is way cooler than I thought, but oh my God, it's weird. I don't know that I love the girl singer. They definitely thought it was a girl singer, but they didn't know that they loved the music, but then it was Dan. It was Dan who said, I know that Ashton kid is really handsome and really cocky, but this is something. And it was just, God, you go back through the memories. There's so many people that, God, if it went differently, had I not gone on that tour, this whole thing could have never happened. You'd like to think that like Coheed's ascension was unstoppable. I'm telling you from my experience in watching the talent pool that I know and watching them never find the right guys or the right time or the right label or the right place. And it's so finicky. It's so delicate, Mark. This thing, I would wager it probably wouldn't happen.
Obviously,
But
with the time
yeah.
we've got, I want to talk about Hell, but just before we get there, this time last year, July was approaching. You got the headline slot for 2000 Trees, which is one of the greatest festivals ever. I just want to know what it was like for you because, I think that day was very, very special. Doing two sets, I love the atmosphere. I just wondered from your perspective how you felt the whole day went.
Well, I can tell you, we didn't know much about 2000 Trees until we pull in there. And, um, sometimes when you're a band on tour, especially in another country, and the bathrooms are 150 degrees, they're porta potties, and things aren't set up great, you're not always in a great mood. But 2000 Trees, the second you get there, you feel like, I don't know, there's this like down to like we are the fans are us, we're all there. There's like a togetherness that I don't know. Well, I think I do know actually. I don't think you can purchase that.
No.
I think it's just a reality that's real. And like some of the things that might bum us out at another festival when you're tired and cranky almost became like part of the charm. And you just felt like to be here was special. There's an energy in the air. I don't mean to get all hippie-ish on you, but really, there
No, it
was
is. It's
something.
true. Yeah.
But this is before anyone explained it to me. So this is literally coming in blank. Like, why does this feel different? This feels like punk. It
Yeah.
felt punk in all the right ways. And then to the reception we got is never going to get old and still blows my mind. And, in all four of our heads, when we get told we're going to play acoustic, our fear is that there's three people there or that nobody cares. And then to see it be just received so well, it lit us up. And then the performance part was just unbelievable. And then we go and we get a drink or two. We go and watch Taking Back Sunday. It's the best time, dude. 2000 Trees is a special thing. Awfully hard to articulate exactly why. Because I don't know. I don't know the answer, but it feels different than any other festival that I've done. And we've done some really great festivals, like the Danny Weimer, is that his name? I always hear that name getting thrown around, like Rockville and Sonic Temple. Like these are big festivals that this year was our first year on the main stage. And those were incredible. And I can't wait to do them again. They were unreal. 2000 Trees is like, and I mean this with all respect, it's like the VFW shows of festivals. There's something so beautifully like together about it. And I just don't think that's something you can purchase. You can't spend money to make that a reality. It's just real. And I give credit to the people who throw 2,000 trees and put this thing on. From the people that guide your tour bus in, it's just like people. And it's just not, I don't want to be as like on the nose to say it's just not corporate, man, but it just feels real. Everything there
Everyone's
feels
teaming
real.
together. There's one big family. It feels
Yeah.
like everyone's on the same page. And I saw when we shared the stage together and we were in that forest and I looked out and there's a sea of people. I saw all of you. Obviously, I'm still on the stage. I'd look at your faces and all of you are just beaming. You're smiling like this is the sun's out. You're playing Welcome Home and it sounds fucking epic. All of you are like on the same page. The crowd are loving it and there's just a vibe. And I was like, I couldn't, you're right. I can't articulate it. I want to capture it and put it in a bottle and keep it forever. I'm like, it was magical. That's the word. It was just magical.
Truly, you and me both, Mark. Yeah, I want to put that in a bottle and save it. But I think I've learned as I age up, and let this be advice to any young listeners, to try to really pack that moment away and really savor it. Don't try to speed through it. And that was one of those moments. It was special. You know, shows can kind of blend together sometimes. I mean, I just think it's a par for the course. It happens when you play shows every day. And then there's these ones that kind of sit atop the mountain. And 2,000 Trees is certainly one of them. And more importantly, the acoustic set at 2,000 Trees. We were just, yeah, we couldn't hide our jubilation. We were just beaming. Like you said, we were thrilled. And we certainly enjoy playing acoustic. And it all just felt like the stars were aligned the perfect way and the right calories the day before, the right humidity. Everything came together so perfectly. It's one that I'll remember on my deathbed. There's a handful, and that most certainly will be one of them. It's a really, really, really special performance.
And that's why I have it tattooed on my arm, dude. The little Coheed logo in the forest. It will stay with me forever. Like it's the highlight of fucking life, not just podcasting.
Yeah, I don't think you can really it's like unless you were there, right?
Yeah.
You don't really know. It's like hard. We could say all the things. We're saying all the things, but like it's not. It's ineffable. I think that word, you can't describe it. It's something in an energy we don't yet have the words for. And that was one of those moments. And Mark, I'm really glad that we shared that together because,
Yeah, man.
you know, a big part of that was the interview and us being at ease to do an interview and just feeling the love and appreciation for the art. I mean, that's all an artist wants. You know, it gets whittled down to like all these kind of like commerce and money exchanges, but really an artist just wants someone to connect with their art, and through that is a shared energy. And that's all I ever wanted. Even as a drummer banging away on the drums, that's what I want. I want this to connect to someone like it did for me when I was a kid. You know, seeing bands, again, not big shows, but seeing bands out connected to me where all I could think of every day was when is the next show. I'm drawing logos for bands that don't even exist and some that do, but I just want that connection. I want to share that with people out there. And at 2,000 Trees, I felt like we were sharing it with quite a few people. But other than that, I just don't know that you can describe something so kind of perfect and beautiful.
So, like you said at the start, not only did you do it in one band, you then went on and did it with Coheed. Emma, my good friend, who obviously does your publicity, kept sharing these videos on Instagram, and I kept seeing this free piece, and I was like, who the fuck are these? They sound incredible. Like, they sound like a mixture of all my favorite bands. And I was like, who is this? Because on Instagram, my brain just goes, oh, there's a quick video or a reel. I watch it, and then I lose it, and I'm like, where the fuck did that video go? And I have to, like, it kind of just flashes at me, loads of little clips and stuff. But then I saw, and I was like, hang on a minute, that looks like the guy from Coheed. Is that Josh? And I was like, this band sounds so good. And she's like, they're called Held. Go and check them out. Like, go and check them out. And then, honestly, dude, I'm not just saying this because you're here, because I've said it to friends in a bar when I've had a beer. You've got, like, the album of the year. It's fucking phenomenal. And you shouldn't be allowed to have that as well as Coheed. Like, it's like, how did you win the lottery twice?
Well, See,
Unreal.
the thing is, Mark, is I'm dope, and that's just all that. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you what, I wasn't like chomping at the bit, although I think the saying is champing at the bit, actually, but I don't know. I watch a lot of 30 Rock. I wasn't like eager to do another band. Like, uh, I did, in the interest of like complete full disclosure, I guess in the back of my head, I kind of imagined like what would happen if, I don't know, crazy shit. What if Dave Grohl picked me? Like, what if
Yeah.
Paramore calls? But to be honest, I don't know, man. I don't think I'd ever leave Coheed. So it's not like I was like, oh, I got to do something else. But I did have this feeling that if the right thing kind of approached me, that maybe I'd be into it. And again, not to like tie this all together, but Doug and Sal, the other guys from Hell that were in a band called The Sleeping, did a bunch of their records at Applehead Studios, the studio my father built.
Yep.
That was paid for partly by the first record deal with Universal that I signed as a kid with my band Three. Again, it's all intertwined. And Mike calls me and he says, "Hey man, Doug and Sal are coming up. You want to jam?" And I actually was like, "Do I have to bring drums?" He goes, "No, we got a kid here." I was like, "Cool, I'm there." If he had said, "Yeah, you got to get your kid, bring it,"
I
right, I'm
can't
like,
be
"No."
bothered. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Doug and Sal. We got to be close on a tour, in the years that I left Coheed and I got my head on straight. I wanted to start my career up again, and I did a band. I didn't start a band. I was asked to be in this band on Universal again. I mean, I've signed like 7 major label deals in my life. It's really funny. So I'm back on Universal with a band called Terrible Things, and we made this kind of like Jimmy Eat World meets Taking Back Sunday, kind of very pop rock emo-y record with me, Fred Mascherino from TBS, Andy Jackson from Hot Rod Circuit, and a kind of revolving door of bass players, some of them really terrific players. And we toured with The Sleeping, and I ended up riding in The Sleeping's van, I feel like for like weeks at a time. And we got really close. So I was down when Mike Birnbaum calls me and says, "Yo, do you want to come and jam with Doug and Sal? We don't know what it is. Want to see if it's something." I said, "All right, I'll come and jam. What's it gonna?" My wife says, "So what is this?" I was like, "Probably nothing." And then we played together, and Sal killed me for saying this, but like Sal was so rusty. Sal's a busy guy. He's got a family. He owns a bunch of restaurants. Sal's crushing it in life. It sounds all rusty because I know Sal's a dope player. Like, I was probably rusty too, but something was there that was undeniable. And it was like, hold on a second. In fact, the title track from Gray was written in that first session. And I forced Doug to keep it on the record. Doug wanted to take it off the record. And I forced him to keep the melody too. He's not even singing in the mic. He's just kind of yelling off in the corner. And you can hear it ever so, it's like a whisper in the back of this demo. And I'm like, that's the melody. But I knew it was something. And to, not to try to be all deep about it, but I was like, this is a feeling I haven't felt in a long time. And that was the same feeling as I'm going to join Coheed was I'm going to do this. This might be something and who doesn't look for that feeling? I am so in love with what Coheed is and what we've built and so deeply proud of it. But that initial feeling of birthing something new into the world, not just new, like a new record, like a whole new project is awfully enticing. And I've waited. I mean, shit, I could be like Anthony Green. That guy's in like 400 bands. I'm only in 2 bands. I'm in Held and I'm in Coheed and Cambria. And it's because they're really special to me. Like, I think that Held record is as good as you say. And I think our best is in front of us. I just really like playing with Doug and Sal. I really like those guys. We worked really hard. It's probably the hardest I've ever worked because, we made the record and in a weird way, that was like the easy part. Like, that's what I do. I'm a studio guy. Like and John Markson, I can't say enough about him and his production. Recording with him was such fun and really cool. And everything just kind of came easy because we have a great relationship. Yo, what about this? No, Doug, that sucks. I'm going to do this. No, try this. Oh, shit, Doug, that's sick. I'm going to try that. Sal, we just talk. We're dudes and we laugh. And like, it's really fun. The hard part came when getting this together to really play. And we worked so hard. I'm so proud of us. And that first show we did, it felt like magic. I'm in the middle of a song and I'm saying to myself, my like inner monologue is saying, oh boy, I haven't felt this in decades. My hair stood up. And I think Held is special. I think it's really great. I love wearing our influences on our sleeves, man. I like that you hear elements of Thrice. Yeah, guess what? I think Thrice is one of the best bands to ever do it. And I'm not talking about my peers. I'm talking about ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, like
you know my love for. We spoke, I think, on the phone yesterday. You know my love. You know my absolute love for Thrice. Like the
yeah, I think
best.
it makes them uncomfortable how much I like their band. Same thing with Taking Back Sunday. Like I think it makes them uncomfortable how much I truly love their band. Because when you're friends with guys, it almost does get uncomfortable. But those records are so important to me. And I love those records. And, Doug is really Doug and Sal, they're both really like historians of punk music and heavy music and rock music. So is Travis from Coheed. Truly, Travis is a classic rock historian. He loves it. He lives it. He reads about it. He breathes it. It means so much to him. But Doug and Sal are kind of like that with punk music. And I've learned so much just from fucking with those guys in the short time that we have. And I got to tell you, it really lights me up to hear you talk so highly about Held. I really care about Held. And it will be interesting, like doing 2 full-time bands. But I'm going to make it work because the art warrants it. I want to be a part of something where I can let my creativity really flex. And yeah, how lucky am I? I'm in 2 bands that I get to do that. Yeah, I'm a lucky son of a bitch, man.
Do you think you'll get to be able to get Held over here and play some UK shows?
It's not announced yet. Yes, the answer is yes. Yeah, not going to have to wait very long.
Incredible, man.
So yeah,
And how great is it that in the UK later on this year we're going to get you playing with Shinedown in fucking huge arenas and it's going to be magical.
dude. So Coheed doesn't get like a lot of opportunities to open. This band didn't open for 12 years. 12 years went by that we did not open once, right? And not for lack of trying, Mark. We constantly submit for everything. We just never would get them. And I get it. We're a strange band. We're a weird band. So then a couple years ago, we get one show with My Chemical Romance. And it was just so, I'm just such a fan of My Chemical Romance. I'm just not that close with those guys. I've gotten to know Frank pretty well. I can't say enough about Frank Iero. He's like the most famous guy I know, and you'd never know he was famous because we're talking about a guy who we asked him to do a song. He's like, boom, no doubt. Never asked for a penny. We needed him for a video, and he came. I can't believe he came. We're talking about Frank Iero. My man got in his car, drove 2 hours to come meet us at the video shoot, hung out and shot with us. I can't say enough about this guy. And Frank's just dope, man. His music is dope. His whole vibe, his energy. But I am such a fan of My Chem. It's ridiculous. I think Black Parade, it's like top 10 all time to me.
He's like you, dude. I interviewed him and we talked about LS Dunes and I was like, man, you're in 2 fucking incredible bands.
I love LS Dune so much, man.
So good.
It's so good. It shouldn't even be allowed to be that good. Like, how are you going to have Circus Survive's another band that's so deeply important to me. And I just think, dude, when LS Dunes played on the Coheed cruise, me and my brother, Joey from 3, we just stood there like floored.
Yeah.
Anthony was on fire that night. But the whole band, Tucker, and like the guys coming from Thursday, Tucker and Tim, the guy, like, obviously Travis. It's just like I love all these guys, but that didn't mean I was going to love their band. No way.
No.
But I do. I almost did. I was touchy about it. I was touchy at first. Travis is doing another band, and it's got this kind of visibility. Oh, I got very protective of what we have built, and very scared, and very, I want to be supportive of my brother Travis. But like when I heard the music, I was just like, oh, it's undeniable. It's
I like how
undeniable. I'm
honest
a
you are there,
fan.
dude. I like how honest you are because you've got this
Yeah,
family, you've got Coheed, and then you kind of feel like you're cheating on them if you're going off and having an affair with another band.
yeah. I mean, it's just I care. I deeply,
Yeah.
I care. And I'm not speaking for anybody else but myself. But yes, I was very scared. But I can also say, and I've told Travis this: if Travis never did Dunes, there'd be no Hell.
No.
He really like carved a path. And I said, and he worked his ass off, dude. Travis has two young kids, a wife who just got her degree. She's been in school for years, working her tail off. And this guy, I'm at the end of a 6-week tour. I'm saying, oh God, I can't wait to go home. And here's Travis flying to another tour to tour for another month. And I said, wow, I guess it is doable. And he really like lit the path. And I owe him a great debt of gratitude for that. And just how much I loved Dunes, how much I thought the band, like the last thing I would describe Dunes as is a side project. And that's what we talked about, like ad nauseum. Like we talked about, like this is not a side project. I don't want to do a side project.
No.
Fuck a side project. I want to do, like when I'm withheld, I'm Josh from Hell.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes
No, it does.
really
You're just
like when
doing
I
more
articulate
art.
it.
It's
Yeah.
just alongside. It's not a bit on the side. It's not a separate like tag along. It's I'm in Coheed and I'm in Held. I'm playing for
Yeah.
Held tonight, and then tomorrow I might be Coheed.
Yeah. And like Coheed has been so like ultra supportive of Held. Um, it like brings a tear to my eye, dude. It really warms my soul. Like Claudio got on the phone with Doug at my request to talk about like warm up routines, and then Held's first show, we're playing like a 300 cap room with nowhere for a rock star to watch, but in the middle with the people. And there's Travis, Claudio at the show. It just means so much to me. It really does. I think with Dunes, it came out the gate with such visibility. It was like nobody could stop that train. But with Held, it's a little bit like, I don't mind leaning on Coheed, like the Coheed Festival, and saying like, hey, man, I'd really love to play this with Held. And just the fact that they're like, oh, heck yeah, let's do it. Just really, I don't know.
But you're
For
playing
all
with
we know,
Shinedown
Claude will
later
do
this
another.
year. You're playing with Shinedown. You're opening, which is insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll get going.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, it's I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable. And those damn crows, like three fucking awesome bands all in one
Yeah,
night.
it's intimidating. It's
Yeah.
intimidating, to be honest. And just playing with Shinedown is intimidating. I mean, dude, again, Shinedown, I give them so much credit for bringing us. We're talking about, we don't open. We did one show with My Chemical Romance, and we did 8 shows in arenas with Incubus, which was dope. It was so sick. We did a whole tour with Primus that it was really funny, actually. It was billed to us as a co-headliner, and I was really proud about that, dude. Primus, Sailing the Seas of Cheese, like changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're co-headlining with Primus. Well, we get to the tour. We were most certainly not co-headlining with Primus, and we shouldn't have been. Like, that was a Primus tour, so we got to open for Primus, which we were fine with. It was like, oh, whatever. Fine, it's not a co-headliner, and it shouldn't have been. Like, Primus has such a wide net, and we learned a lot from watching Primus, man. So we've been starting to kind of, this is all in the last 2 years. So we've been
Yeah.
starting to get these opportunities. And for a band like Shinedown to invite us on this tour, both legs, and then bring us to the UK as well, where we're going to play rooms that we've never even seen. What a thrill, dude. What an unbelievable thrill. And by the way, Shinedown are maybe the nicest, most giving and generous human beings I've ever come across in the music business or in my life. These are just really stand out and stand up guys. And I can't say enough about those dudes.
Dude,
Nicest guys
I'm
ever.
very conscious of time. So what I do on this podcast, and I do it on every episode, and it's never been different, is as you're on the episode, I edit, I mix it, I put it out there for the world to listen to. But the song that plays at the very end of the episode is chosen by the guest. Now, Josh, I know your music knowledge. I know the vast amount of bands you listen to. But what's a song, when I ask you the question today, that means so much to you that when this episode is all edited and ready for the world to listen to, what song do you want played? It can be any band, any song, but for some reason, Josh, one will come to your heart and your soul above any other.
Well, Mark, as you're saying that, so many kind of pop up, but I got to go with the Pillars, right? Well, I was going to say, I was kind of listening and running through my head like, oh, well, hey, we talked about heavy music. How about Tip Your Bartender by Glassjaw, one of my favorite
Oh
bands.
man,
But if
yeah.
we're going to go with the Pillars, I don't know if you could play the whole song because it's
I'll play
all
the
too
whole
loud.
song,
But if we're
man.
going
Yeah,
to
it's
go with
fine.
the, well, I hate to do it to you, but I got to say Achilles' Last Stand, Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
Do you know that song?
Yes.
Dude, it's like one of the most badass, unbelievably dope songs on my probably least favorite Zeppelin record. But that song, it's just a pillar. If we're really talking about the ones that are really cemented into your heart,
Yeah.
although, by the way, it could also be Tip Your Bartender. Like that lives in my head. I wake up in the morning. Then
I'm going to
to the
listen to
other
that
riff.
after this fucking episode.
I said that fucking record changed my life truly, dude. I'll never forget hearing two. They had released like a kind of teaser, 2-song teaser, and we didn't know much about Glassjaw. We had heard a couple things, but Worship and Tribute. We got to tour with them in 2016, and
They're playing 2000 Trees,
just
Josh, this year.
yeah, fuck yeah, man. Well, that's awesome. But Glassjaw, I just one of the true important bands that like through their art etched out
They're
their
for me
own
up there
footprint.
with like Refused, Deftones. They're fucking unbelievable. I can't wait to see Glassjaw this summer. Honestly, ugh,
Yeah, I mean, I got along really well with Beck from
yeah.
Glassjaw, and I'm just such a big fan of Daryl, dude. I just like I get nervous around him. We're on tour with them, the whole U.S. tour. I think I said 4 words to him the whole time. I'm terrified. It's like I like you too much. I can't talk to you. But no, Daryl was chill and Beck was great. Me and Beck got along really, really well. And like just Glassjaw. But no, if the Pillars, dude, yeah, Led Zeppelin, man. I mean, for me, Led Zeppelin was the moment in life where I was smart enough to listen to my pops. Maybe it's probably the reason I'm in a band is Led Zeppelin because we were kids listening to what was on the radio. Uh, I liked my like kind of pop metal that would come across MTV, but I was listening, Salt and Pepper, Vanilla Ice. Me and my brother both wanted the Vanilla Ice CD to the extreme for Christmas, and my dad was like, "Okay, we're gonna sit down, boys." And it was me, my blood brother Joey, and I imagine my other brothers there, Barry and Kwame, and he puts on Zeppelin. And I think he put on Zeppelin 1. He started at the
Oh
beginning.
wow.
And we were smart enough to listen. Like, how the hell were we not like, oh, shucks,
Turn
Daddy, you're
this
a stupid
shit
old
off.
fart. Fuck
Yeah.
off. Yeah, no. And all I listened to for like years, almost to my detriment, if it wasn't Zeppelin, I wasn't trying to hear it. Like, because there was such a vast catalog to dive into. I'm getting into this shit in the 90s. It's all out there. And it was just, Zeppelin. I mean, I've made a whole career out of kind of trying to steal from John Bonham.
This is a full 360 moment, isn't it? This podcast has gone right back to the beginning.
Yeah, well, it's really true. Well, when you're asking a song at the end, there's a
Yeah.
million songs that come to mind, but the true pillars. And by the way, when I heard Achilles' Last Stand as a kid, I never heard anything like that.
No.
I never heard a song even that long or all the winding roads and the drums. God damn it, that's what we're missing in modern music. Like you couldn't have that performance today if you've got a producer who's going to ultra quantize everything. Like the computer would tell you some of those hits are probably wrong. And I put wrong in air quotes because it's not wrong. A computer, no matter how you have it gridded, like we tighten stuff up too much. There's such a groovy looseness to Achilles Lane. It's so badass.
It is. That's the
Fucking
word.
Zeppelin, dude.
Badass.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
But
shut up.
I'm going
Sorry.
to. I'm
I
going
like
to.
talking to you, Mark.
No, it's good. I'm going to Slam Dunk in 24 hours for 2 days. So Slam Dunk, man. It's got it's got your friends. Taking Back Sunday are playing, and Good Charlotte and President. And I've got literally a 3.5 hour drive down there, and I'm gonna literally now just put on Zeppelin on just shuffle. I'm just gonna have literally a Zeppelin day because of you. I'm just gonna be like, right, Josh,
Yeah.
you've relit the Led Zeppelin fucking torch in my brain, and now I'm gonna just embrace it.
Well, for me, Zeppelin was really very punk. Like, yeah, I wasn't alive in the 70s, like to me, it was the kind of opposite of what they were with their sexy kind of glamness. To me, I got beat around in school for the one time I wore my Led Zeppelin shirt. Like nobody was listening to this in my school, in Kingston, New York. Maybe by high school, some kids had evolved and got on the Zeppelin train. But in my middle school, nobody was listening to this. And Zeppelin felt just, really deep. And I remember my uncle, who's like a gutter punk guy, worked with Jello Biafra. My uncle's done he's an activist, really great guy. Had also a lot to do with also a musician. And he kind of explained Zeppelin that in their day that it was like very turn the girls on sexy. But I didn't get exposed to any of that. I just got exposed to the music. And, their cover art was mysterious. And, the cover of Four, the poster, if you put it up to a mirror, it makes a demon head. And an adult told me one time, an adult man told me, I'm like 8 years old, don't ever listen to Stairway to Heaven. You'll go to hell. And of course, I was like, well, I gotta hear this.
I'm going to listen to it twice. Yeah.
What kind of idiot? This was a fucking adult, dude. Are you kidding me? But yeah, Zeppelin felt really punk to me, which I realize is a weird, contradictory statement, but it did at the time. And just changed my life. And from Zeppelin, got me into Floyd and started discovering a lot of that music from that era, even stuff that wasn't in the rock world at all. Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Sly and the Family Stone. I mean, that's, I think that shit really kind of shows up in the Coheed universe. And like some of those influence, certainly the Zeppelin, but like some of the other stuff. And we always get tagged with the Rush thing. And it was funny. We got it so much that Claudia went and really dug in on Rush because we weren't really exposed to that much Rush. And to this day, like I'm just not the biggest. I recognize that Rush was like life altering for people and the technical wizardry. It's just not my thing. In my very small window of kids who liked rock music growing up, it was like you either liked Rush or Zeppelin, and I'm a Zeppelin guy all the way. But that said, I appreciate Rush. I'd go see Rush. I'd go see Rush post Neil. I'd go see them now. Like I appreciate it, but it just didn't. It doesn't take up the same real estate in my heart as Zeppelin does. Certainly not. Just not the biggest.
And that's
Rush fan.
fine.
For a guy that's in a band that gets compared to them all the time.
Dude, you've got some incredible times ahead. Your own festival, which I might try and quit my job for and just come over because I think it'll be fucking awesome.
Oh, if you do, man, you got to let me know that you're there and we got to hang. But I get it. It's expensive. And Mark, I feel you keep trying to end this because of my own time constraints, and I just keep going. I'm going to shut up.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to come and hang out with you when you're supporting Shinedown because that's in Birmingham, which isn't far from me. I will come and see you. We'll watch the support. We'll watch your set. And we'll have a drink and then watch Shinedown. I think that sounds like a wicked time.
Mark, when you finish the show, and then let me give you my phone number. Yeah. Just don't put it on the air, obviously.
I won't, don't worry. And we'll catch up. And let's even maybe record some more. Let's maybe continue this. Because I think the fans out there today will want a part two. I feel like we scraped the surface.
Yeah, I don't know if you figured it out. I don't mind talking about myself. It's actually really healthy to kind of dig through and, like digest some of this stuff in this kind of setting. It's very therapy like, which
Dude, I'm going
weirdly,
to
I've never gone
invoice
to
you. I'm
therapy,
going to
but
send an invoice for like $200 and be like, look, this was a counseling session. This is your therapy for the year.
no, it is. It's like healthy in a way to just talk about this stuff with someone else listening. And man, I would be so moved if people wanted a part two, and certainly happy to do one. That would be incredible.
We will do it. I've had Alex Winter on 4 times. I've had Dustin from Thrice on 5 times. So trust me, there's
That's
always an
awesome. I
open
love
ticket for you.
Dustin. Yeah, I love Dustin, man. We're good friends with Dustin.
Yeah,
Uh,
whenever you want to come on, dude, we'll make it happen. But maybe we do it in person in Birmingham. There'll be time that you've been waiting after sound check. We'll chill backstage and we'll do it again.
well, I'm certainly looking forward to that. So end
Yeah.
this show so I can give you my number.
I will say thank you for coming on the podcast. Everyone should go and listen to Held. Fucking album of the year right now. I love the production. I love the rawness. Again, it takes me back to you guys being a free piece for like Green Day when I first got into live music. I hope it isn't long until we get the official announcement for some UK shows. And man, you're just living the dream. I am so envious the fact that you're in Coheed, you're now in Held. You're going to be supporting Shinedown in the UK, and you've got your own festival in America. Life is fucking sweet, and it's fully deserved. It happens to the people that work hard. And Josh, genuinely, from the moment we met at 2000 Trees, there was no arrogance. There was no pretentiousness. You guys are the real deal, and I really appreciate you as a person, man.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Mark. Really, that makes my day, and I look forward to doing one more of these, many more of these. I look forward to just getting a hang in person and seeing you. So thanks for having me.
Man, that was one of my favorite interviews. Josh is truly an inspiration to anyone that wants to get on drums, has some of the greatest knowledge ever, has been in Coheed and Cambria, and now he's in Held at the same time. He's just an absolute legend, and I'm so glad the interview happened. I'm so grateful. And if you haven't heard the band Held, go and please listen to their debut album, Grey. It's phenomenal. Album of the year easily. And the good news is, since this interview was recorded in May, the band have now gone ahead and announced the UK dates in November. So there's going to be some shows in Liverpool, Glasgow, Cardiff, Birmingham and London. So go and check it out. You will not regret it. And I'll definitely be at some of those shows later in November. As always, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, you know how much I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to share the episodes. It goes a massive way if you put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. I rely on this to get the name of Mark and Me out there because I'll never pay for marketing or sponsored adverts or anything like that. I leave it down to you guys and it's hugely, hugely appreciated. I also want to give a massive shout out to the sponsors of Mark and Me, starting with Richer Sounds. If you want to get yourself anything to do with audio and visual equipment, go to any of their high street stores or go on richersounds.com. And finally, Vice Press. If you want a licensed print, poster, VHS or collectible item that is completely licensed, go on their website vicepress.com, add anything to the basket and use the discount code MarkandMe26 for 10% off. I also want to give a shout out to Emma who made this interview happen. I love you dearly. I say this every time we do interviews together, but I wouldn't be where I am today without you, so thank you so much. And all you guys for taking the time to listen as always. I love each and every one of you and appreciate you all more than you'll ever know. Right guys, I'll be back in a couple of days time with another brand new episode of Mark and Me. So until then, go and listen to Held, look after yourself, take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon.